And Mr. Hoke, after we do the student recognition, we do have a staff recognition that Dr. LaRosa will inform us about as well.
Okay, we're all set.
All right, Rick, I don't know if you heard me. I think you froze up for a second there, but we'll
drop for a second, and I'll warn everybody ahead of time. My internet connection is poor. I've asked Mr. Gershie to step in if for any reason I drop out here. Usually once we get started, it stays on, but early on, sometimes it hangs up for me.
So I was saying that we also have a staff recognition after our student recognition.
Okay. Very good. I guess, should we start or do we want to wait any longer? Are we okay?
I think we're okay. Why don't we get going and keep things on time?
All right, sounds good. I'll call this meeting of the Western Wayne School Board to order. We'll begin with a prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear God, please help us to work together to make the best decisions for the children under our care. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to
the flag
the flag
of the United States of
of
America and to
and
the
to the
republic
republic
for which it
stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call, please, Mrs. Emmett. Miss Emmett?
Mrs. Fiorella.
She will not be here this evening.
Mr. Hoke.
Here.
Mr. Gogolski.
Here.
Mrs. DeCiato.
Here.
Mr. Enslin.
Here.
Mr. Gershie.
Here.
Mr. Gambita.
Here.
Mr. Auckland.
Here.
Mr. Wood.
Here,
Attorney Muir.
Here.
Dr. Barrett.
Here.
Dr. LaRosa.
Here.
And Miss Emmett is here. Mr. Hoke, you have 8 board members present.
Thank you. We'll start with number 5, the approval of minutes. We have a motion for that agenda item, please.
I move that we approve the minutes of the board work session and the regular board meeting, which both of which were held on October 6th, 2021.
I second it.
That motion was made by Mr. Gershie and seconded by Mr. Gambita. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, say no.
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I'm sorry. That motion passes. Next is treasurer's report. A motion for that one, please.
I move to accept the treasurer's report for the general, food service, and student activity accounts.
I'll second that.
All right, that motion was made by Mr. Gogolski and seconded by Mr. Wood. Are there any questions from anyone? Okay, all right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by saying no? That motion passes. The next one, it's the approval of bills. Can I have a motion for number 7, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve the bills for general, food, and construction accounts.
I'll second that.
I'm sorry, I got a little back there. There was Mr. Enslin and Mr. Gambita.
Sure, that's fine.
The motion was made and seconded by Mr. Enslin and Mr. Gambita. Are there any questions? All right, all in favor, please say so by signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed by no? Okay, that motion passes. Number 8 is the accounting of taxes. Do we have any information on that? All right, there's nothing. So we'll go on to number 9, student recognition. Dr. Barrett, I guess you're going to handle that this evening?
Yes, thank you very much. Tonight we have 2 students, 2 seniors that we would like to recognize for all of their hard work and efforts, not just this year, but throughout their tenure here at Western Wayne. Our first student is Rachel Tuman. Rachel is the daughter of Michael and Ellen Tuman of Lake Ariel.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Tuman, daughter of Michael and Ellen Tuman of Lake Ariel. I am currently a senior here at Western Wayne and have been enrolled at Western Wayne since my pre-K at the Hamlin Elementary School. I would like to thank the Board of Education, Mr. Gorski, and Mr. Barr for granting me this opportunity to speak tonight. Throughout my time here at Western Wayne, I have been involved with many clubs and activities, such as serving as the president for the National Honor Society, as well as being a member for 3 years. I have been the vice president for the Future Business Leaders of America, or FBLA, qualifying for nationals and placing in the regional and state competitions under the guidance of Ms. Lubosh and Ms. Witowski. I have also been the girls varsity tennis team captain for 2 years, senior class vice president, operations manager at the Closet School Store, a student ambassador for the Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Foundation, a participant in International Student Leadership Institute, and an ambassador for the Wildlife Leadership Academy. I am the president of the St. Thomas More Youth Group and an altar server. Other activities at Western Wayne include mock trial, NEIU Scholastic Bowl, Planet Wildcat School Newspaper staff writer, Yearbook Club, Spanish Club, Varsity Club, Prom Committee co-chairperson, varsity softball, and cheerleading. I have been a 10-year gifted education student and have received Distinguished Honor Roll consistently throughout my high school with recognition of the principal's list for my class rank. I deeply appreciate and commend the teachers, administrators, and coaches who have worked patiently and tirelessly to bring a semblance of normalcy to the school year. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the many supporters I have had over the years. First, thank you to my parents, Michael and Ellen Tuman, for their unconditional love and support, fostering my individual development with some of the characteristics I admire most about them. I truly feel so lucky to have such an open line of communication and their utmost support for my aspirations in life. I'm also grateful to have watched my older siblings, Catherine and Jack Tuman, progress through Western Wayne's halls and hold their own successful place in society. My family has been my most influential role models, and I thank God every day for such firm examples of dedication and hard work. Throughout my time here at Western Wayne, I have taken many academically challenging courses, including 10 honors and 7 advanced placement classes. I have taken dual enrollment with Lackawanna College and have received college credits for my advanced placement courses. I would like to thank my extraordinary teachers such as Mrs. Piccone and Mrs. McClure for being such tremendous advocates for me. Also with Ms. Masankai, Mrs. Wayman, and Mr. Butler, and many others who have pushed me to do my best academically and in my extracurriculars. Under the guidance of Ms. Masankai and Mrs. Gribble, we have planned successful activities such as the Senior Sunrise and Prom 2021. I am grateful that our school allowed us these events amongst the health concerns of last year. We plan to host a senior sunset at the end of the school year to symbolize the end of the class of 2022's time together. Athletically, I would like to thank my tennis coach, Robert Amos, and my tennis team for providing such an enjoyable place on the tennis courts, which hold some of my best high school memories. My senior year has been full of celebrations so far, enjoying the end of the activities that I have cherished throughout these past 4 years. Earlier this school year, I was honored to have been selected by my peers to be on the homecoming court and share that experience with classmates I have known my entire life. However, I'm reminded that these events, both academically and personally, are the foundations I will build upon and use for the transition into college. At Western Wayne, I have learned the importance of time management and different ways of balancing my various school activities, community organizations, as well as my part-time job at a local pharmacy. My plans after high school are to attend a 4-year university, majoring in economics and pre-law studies, to ultimately attain a Juris Doctor from an accredited law school. I'm deeply honored to have had the opportunity to share some of my high school experience tonight. Thank you to the Board of Education and all the administrators for providing a safe learning environment filled with many opportunities here at Western Wayne. I am so eager to experience the rest of my senior year with my peers. You know, as they say, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, very much. That was excellent. Our second student to be recognized this evening is Kaylee Romanowski. Kaylee is the daughter of Joe and Julie Romanowski of Lake Ariel. It'll be just a moment before we switch videos.
Good evening. My name is Kaylee Romanowski. I would like to start off by thanking Principal Gregorski and the Western Wayne Board of Education for giving me the opportunity to express my appreciation to the Western Wayne community. Throughout my time at Western Wayne, I have had the opportunity to take many challenging AP and honors classes that have tested me in ways I can't even describe. From having no idea how to solve a math problem to finally getting a 100, these courses have taught me that it is okay to make mistakes, and it's what you do to overcome the adversity that helps to define who you are. I have also been able to participate in many extracurricular activities such as FBLA and FCCLA. Through FBLA, I have been able to compete at the national level 3 years in a row. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, the national conferences for the past 2 years have been virtual. But as a freshman, I was able to participate in the national conference in Texas, which took me out of my comfort zone and put me in positions that I could have never seen myself in. Along with the various classes and clubs, I've also had the privilege to represent Western Wayne in a way not many people get the chance to do. I've been able to wear the Western Wayne name on a varsity jersey for the girls' softball, volleyball, and basketball teams. These teams have taught me to focus on small details and how to strive for greatness, as well as the value of hard work and dedication. The aspect of being on a team has taught me selflessness and has driven me to be the best me I can be, because I'm not only playing for myself, I'm playing for the girls beside me and for the name on the front of the jersey. Although I'm being recognized individually, I owe all of my success to the people surrounding me, from my teammates, friends, and family, to my many teachers and coaches. To my teammates, who have become my best friends, thank you for always being there for me, regardless of a win or loss. You've cheered me on when I was at my best and picked me up when I was at my lowest. Thank you for always trusting me and pushing me to work harder. No matter the situation, I couldn't imagine playing with a better group of girls, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for each and every one of you. To my coaches, thank you for always pushing me beyond my comfort zone and teaching me that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Thank you for holding me accountable and helping me overcome my weaknesses. Thank you for seeing my full potential and always believing in me even when I was at my worst. Words cannot express how grateful I am for the countless hours you have put in to make me a better teammate, athlete, and person. To my teachers, thank you for always putting your students first. You've pushed me beyond my limits to prepare me for the obstacles life has to throw. From studying for the big tests or just trying to figure out how to write the perfect essay, you have always been on my side, rooting for me to do well. You've instilled the concept of hard work and determination, which has helped me on and off the athletic scene. You've taught me the values of time management and problem solving that I will hold on to forever. Thank you for teaching me that nothing is impossible and often the perfect outcome takes many failures. You have prepared me for my future and given me the confidence to face my fears and pursue my aspirations, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. And to my family, who are my biggest fans, thank you for the endless love and support. From the classroom to the court or field, you have always been there for me, cheering me on, regardless of the outcome. You have always done what was best for me and put me in the best situation to succeed. From taking me to practice at 9 o'clock at night to traveling to Texas for a tournament, you've surrounded me with people who have made it possible for me to reach my full potential. No matter the result, you have never turned your back on me. You have instilled in me the values of grit and mental toughness, as well as the importance of having a strong work ethic. You've shown me the values of tough love and taught me that nothing is given, everything is earned through hard work. Without you, I wouldn't be the same person I am today. And lastly, to the Western Wayne administrators and Board of Education, thank you for providing me the opportunities that have given me a chance to grow as a student, athlete, and person. Without the support of the Wildcat community, I would not be where I am today. In closing, I would like to thank all of you for giving me this chance to tell my story. As I prepare to take the lessons I've learned at Western Wayne to a 4-year institution, while I will continue my basketball career and pursue a degree in finance.
Okay, thank you, Rachel and Kaylee, for sharing a little bit of your story with us. You are the pride that we feel for you is probably only second to your families, and we appreciate all that you the hard work you've put in at Western Wayne and the great job you've done. All right, Dr. Barrett, you also had a staff recognition you wanted to take care of?
Yes, Dr. LaRosa, would you like to take over this section, please?
Sure, thank you. Today we learned that the Honesdale area JCs recognized Christine McClure as their 2021 Teacher of the Year. So we would like to congratulate Mrs. McClure and her entire family.
Again, fantastic when we hear any of our staff or students or anybody that is involved with the school district is honored. And it's even a little sweeter when it's from outside the district. So congratulations, Mrs. McClure, and we're proud and glad to have you. All right, next, unless there's anything else that you have, Dr. Barrett, we'll go on to public recognition, I guess.
Yes, and I would just like to follow up and say congratulations to our students, to Mrs. McClure. You know, the two girls we heard tonight just exemplify what it means to be a Wildcat, and not just involved in many activities, but excelling in all of those. So thank you so much for your efforts. You make us proud, and you're a true example of what we expect of our students. So thank you. And to Ms. McClure, again, thank you for all of your hard work and dedication. And it does not go unnoticed, and we thank you for your efforts. At this time, we'd like to move along to public recognition. So we do have a couple individuals online with us this evening who would like to speak publicly. First, we have Amanda Johnson. Dr. Johnson, we'll let you go first. So, if Mr. Seaman could please allow you into the speaking panel.
Okay, Dr. Johnson, you should be set.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to bring up a couple of points after the last meeting, and we had discussed my concerns about the lack of an in-person meeting. I've done some more research, and I've had several people from the community express their disappointment that the school board did not publicly talk about this major change in protocols concerning their ability to come in person, speak to you, your elected officials. We wanted to speak to you. We wanted to be able to ask questions in person, have conversations like we would expect to have from our elected officials. We really rely on those interactions between the board members and the staff, the teachers, faculty, everybody as a community coming together instead of this virtual piecemeal way of trying to communicate. There is no longer any mandate that this has to happen. There's the exact opposite. Currently, on the Office of Open Records, there is a distinct message that says, do not deny the public in-person meetings. Tonight, I was watching those wonderful students. I wanted to be there in person like we usually are with the families, and you guys would have the parents stand up and they would get recognition from their peers and their families. And we didn't get to do that tonight. I wanted to see those kids and see how excited they were that they got that personal recognition by a loving community, support. Seniors aren't going to get another chance at this. This is their once and only for a lot of this stuff. And they're getting deprived of it. We have to think about that. You know, we're making decisions that are going to make long-term effects on our community. The other thing is, I would like to hear what this board has to say about us needing to go through all these hoops just to be able to have our right to be part of this public meeting. I don't get to talk to you guys. I don't get to ask you questions. you don't get to talk to me as a group and interact with me. I would like to hear why we are doing this from you, our elected officials. I would like to hear that, please. I think we deserve to hear that. So can we please do that as part of this meeting? Can we please have interactions with the board members? That's so very important for us. We just had another election. This is one of our basic American rights, is to speak to our elected officials. The other thing that I would like is I would like to know what our attorney that we hire, what premise is he having this go on when it says distinctly that we are not supposed to be doing it this way? Are we placing ourselves in harm's way? He's always very careful about how we try to keep this district from being sued. Are we going to end up wasting precious tax dollars because we're not following the rules and citizens are not willing to allow this to continue? Is there a letter that comes from the Department of Education that says, yes, you need to not go with the guidelines for the Office of Open Records? And if there is that letter, I want to see it, please. I want proof that this is being condoned by the Pennsylvania School Board Association, that this is being condoned by the Department of Education against the Office of Open Records. I want it in writing. I want to see why we're not following the rules. Please, I don't want this to have to go to the next step. I have an attorney. I don't want to have to use him. I really don't want our taxpayer dollars to go for this. I want us to work as a community and get this back on track right away before things go that next step. I don't want it to turn into that. So is there a way for me to talk to the board, please?
I believe, Dr. Johnson, you just did speak to the entire board. Everyone
No,
is.
I mean, like an answer from the individual boards. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. I would like to be able to talk to you, like you, Mr. Why do you feel it's necessary that we can't have the prescribed in-person meeting? What is the thinking?
Dr. Barrett, I think you're better suited.
No, I want to talk to you, Mr. Houck. I want your opinion, please. You are an elected official, please. I would like to know why you.
I'd like to defer to Dr. Barrett, who has checked
my
in.
Elected official, sir.
Has checked into the.
No,
yeah.
He's not the elected official. You are the elected official. He is a
I'm
well.
trying to answer your question. You're not allowing me to.
Okay, it's one of the things about the delay. I'm very sorry. Please don't let me interrupt.
Well, Dr. Johnson, as we discussed earlier today, I know you were not necessarily satisfied with the answer. We would actually prefer in-person meetings as well. There are several factors that went into the decision to move back to virtual. One of them, as I said, was the amount of positive COVID cases that we had throughout the district was rampant. We had more cases in the first 2.5 months than we did all of last year, which is tremendous. To this point, we've had almost 200 cases, which we're trying to curb. At the same time, we also had some issues at the past board meetings because we are required to uphold the mask mandate, and we were not able to do that. So if we are not able to do that, then that is a concern of ours.
Do we have a police report or any kind of a filed complaint about behavior? Is there a police report? Is there a letter from?
Yeah, well, there was an incident that
against the school. Was there some sort of a legal action taken that we're not aware of?
There was an incident at our September meeting. Unfortunately,
was there a police report?
Well, you'll have to go through the district attorney's office to discover that. I can't provide any of that.
You're not allowed to tell me if there was a police report filed.
Not on our behalf. There was an investigation. I believe I could leave it at that. Attorney Mayor, I'm not sure to what extent I can go beyond that. I don't know if you could provide some guidance on that front.
Sure. If there was a police report, that's a public record through the DA's office, and that would be at the courthouse. I wasn't personally involved in any police record, but if there was anything from that incident that happened at the September board meeting, when a number of the members in the public wouldn't wear masks as
I wasn't referring to the masking. I believe that would be through the Department of Education, right? I believe there was some worry about a person's behavior mentioned briefly, that was one of the reasons that somebody was unpleasant at the meeting. No, is that no longer concern?
I don't know. I'm just if there was an investigation or a police report, that'd be handled.
So there is no report of that you folks are aware of, that we're not having an in-public meeting because there's no report. That's not, you're not aware of any reports.
Well, no, there was an investigation that took place as a result of behaviors at the meeting that we were.
An investigation.
That was handled by the Wayne County District Attorney's Office. That's how it worked.
I'm sorry, excuse me. As our attorney, Mr. Muir, you are not involved in any kind of an official kind of a problem through that. There's nothing that the public needs to be notified of. Recently, we've had some issues in the school board systems in other states where people were not notified if there were police related matters occurring, but we don't have any of that kind of problems in our district, correct? That we're not being notified of a police related matter for safety.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything that you're not being notified about, Dr.
And if there was, I could request it through the rules for
Again, Dr. Johnson, that would go through the district attorney's office, not through the district.
We can certainly look into that, the district attorney office. So, like I said, if we don't have any letters from the Department of Education that we are in violation of something, and we don't have any letters that we are currently involved in a dangerous situation, and we don't have any letters that Mr. Muir or any of our other experts are providing us, I'm still not hearing why, a reason why, a legitimate piece of proof that why we are not doing what is required by the rules of the state. We're not following the rules, the open rules. The Sunshine Law is not being followed. So we are actually not following the law. And it's on their page, on their webpage. It is in bold red alert. Do not stop public meetings. It doesn't say if, when, or what. It says don't stop it because of the COVID.
Dr. Johnson, we have 15 minutes for public comment. We do have other individuals that would like to speak, but all I could say is that we believe that we worked within the legal parameters that we're supposed to, and we worked with the guidance that we were provided to make sure that we're allowing for an appropriate public meeting.
You leave me no choice. I will have to pursue. I will be speaking to my attorney. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. We have other speakers lined up. Dr. Barrett?
We do have another individual present with us this evening, Robert Hess. Robert, if you would like to address the board, please.
Okay, Mr. Hess.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I was muted there. So just real quick, want to piggyback off of what Dr. Johnson just conveyed. And pretty much now, can you guys quickly just provide some clarity on the school's policy for those who aren't in compliance with the mandate? I know it's stated in the mandate that people shouldn't be restrained, have force used against them, or being removed And to Dr. Barrett's point, at the meeting in September, we saw school resource officers physically stepping in the way of people who were trying to attend the meeting without masks. One instance, as you mentioned, turned physical. I was standing right there. So was there a change to that portion of the mandate, to your guys' knowledge?
To my knowledge, at this point, there has been no change in that.
Okay. But that's cited as one of the reasons why we're still virtual, is the fact that you had some non-compliant individuals trying to attend the board meeting, and one case of an altercation.
Well, that compounded with the rising cases throughout the district of COVID. So there were multiple factors that played into that decision.
I would just like to point out, I think that, many of the attendees of these meetings, now that there's vaccines available for people, anybody above the age of 5, and they can use their judgment to get the vaccine or wear masks, I do think it'd be appropriate to return to an in-person board meeting. Now, just to move off of that, was there any discussion? I know that the governor had mentioned in September that once vaccines would be available for children under the age of 12, that they would look to drop the mandate for the face coverings. Do you know if that's something that the state has looked into, or did you guys contact the state to try to get an update on that?
Yeah, the last meeting we had among superintendents with our local intermediate unit, they were waiting to see when that would be approved, when that vaccination for the younger kids would be approved, and then they would reevaluate it. They didn't give a firm date, but what sounded like a month-to-month scenario. So they said after November 1st, they would look to see if they would continue it, and obviously that is continued, but we haven't had any updates yet as it was just approved. So that is a consideration, I believe, at the state level at some point. I'm just not certain when.
Okay, and is there a schedule that you guys could release or forward to us of when those meetings take place, or is that public knowledge? Is it on a specific website you can direct us to?
No, those meetings are held just among the superintendents. It's an administrative meeting.
Okay, but it's not public, like it's not released to the public, even though those decisions are being made?
Well, those decisions aren't being made by us. Those are just conversations we have as getting up.
Okay.
So we would get information from the state through the intermediate unit. So those meetings are not public. The meetings that the state may hold to discuss those potentially may be. To what extent, I'm not sure they allow those discussions to be discussed in public, though. That I'm not aware of.
Okay, thank you. And now, one more thing I've mentioned in the past. I know you guys require like a 504 plan for a mask exemption, right? The mandate doesn't state that we need a doctor's note. However, the school district requires one through the 504 plan. Am I correct there?
Well, the district does follow the guidance that, yes, they would follow the 504 process, or it would be part of a student's individual education plan that through those meetings would be determined if a student would be allowed an exemption. And even with the exemption, a lot of times a face shield would be recommended prior to no mask at all, or no face covering.
Right. Well, the reason I ask is because I've contacted doctors and regarding this, and much like public speaking could give somebody a bout of anxiety, but that doesn't necessarily mean that an individual has an anxiety disorder. Putting any sort of face covering, whether it be a shield or a mask, give a child a brief bout of anxiety, but unlike public speaking, that bout of anxiety is prolonged for a duration of 6+ hours a day for 5 days, a week. So they're not really, the doctors wouldn't necessarily say it's an anxiety disorder. However, within the mandate, it says that exemptions could be given where wearing a face covering could cause a medical condition, not just exacerbate a standing medical condition, but could cause one. So I definitely think that giving children brief bouts of anxiety on a daily basis and then extending it for 6 hours could cause a medical condition. However, doctors right now aren't really in the business of predicting future medical conditions. So I was wondering if there was any room for a parental, direction in that source where we can just state, as mentioned in the mandate, where the parent or individual can state that they're having complications or feel like they're being caused a, some sort of anxiety or any other medical complication.
Mr. Hess, if I can just interrupt, if you have a concern with your children, it's best to contact instructional services and arrange for a meeting. There's a variety of accommodations that could be considered and provided for your child. But that is the place to start, where the team would come together and go through the 504 process. So I would encourage you to reach out to instructional services to request a meeting.
I appreciate that answer, because it was never clearly stated throughout this whole process where you would go to do something like that. And just finally, I just wanted to just circle back to what Dr. Johnson spoke about. I know last meeting, Dr. Barrett, you had said to Dr. Johnson that there's alternatives to getting internet, such as public libraries. And I actually looked up the 6 closest libraries, public libraries to us, and all of them close at 6 o'clock or before 6 o'clock. Actually, 3 of the 6 close at 5 o'clock. So I don't think that's a valid recommendation. So I really would encourage you guys to, move these meetings back to a physical format. And if there's any issues, handle those on an individual basis. I don't think one issue with somebody that may have turned physical should hamper our ability to move forward. And like I mentioned, the COVID cases at this point, that's just a crutch you guys are leaning on to bring these virtual, because people have the ability to get vaccinated, wear masks, and we're all adults. We can protect ourselves.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hess.
Thank you.
We have someone else who would like to speak. Dr. Barrett, is there anyone left?
No, we do not have any other individuals at this time.
Okay, then we'll proceed with our agenda. Number 11 is the enrollment on day 37, just slightly over 1,800 students. And then we're going to do a block motion, as we've been doing. We had a meeting a week ago and had our work session and discussed the agenda. So we're going to proceed with a block motion for number 12 through 19G, withholding any that any board members would like. Does anyone have any that they'd like to hold out?
Mr. Vice President, Ms. Emmett mentioned 19A should be withheld.
Okay.
So
I do believe that was a roll call vote.
Okay.
That's why I asked for that.
Did you make a motion, Mr.
No,
Vogt?
I was asking for the motion, please.
Okay, I move we approve a consent block motion for items 12 through 19, but withholding 19A.
I second it.
All right, that motion was made by Mr. Gershi and seconded by Mr. Gambita. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, the motion carries. So now we'll go to number 19A. We have a motion for that one, please. I'll tell you what, I'll make the motion. I recommend that the Board of Education, in accordance with sections 1073 of the Pennsylvania School Code, wishes to notify Dr. Matthew Barrett of our intention to retain him as superintendent of the school district for a second term of 5 years.
I'll second that.
I made the motion, seconded by Mr. Auckland. And we're going to, Ms. Emmett, you'd like to do a roll call vote on that? Is that what you said?
Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Mr. Hoke,
Yes?
Mr. Gagolski,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCiato,
Yes.
Mr. Enslin,
Yes.
Mr. Gershi,
Yes.
Mr. Gambita,
Yes.
Mr. Auckland,
Yes.
and Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Hoke, you have 8 yeses. The motion carries.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously. And Dr. Barrett, thank you for the last 5 years of your service. And we look forward to having a conversation to work on your contract for the coming 5 years. Thank you for all your hard work.
And I'd like to thank the board for all of your support and all the energy that you put in on a day-to-day basis. You guys do a tremendous job, and it is a privilege to work with all of you. And I'm very much looking forward to moving ahead and working more closely with all of you in the coming years. So thank you very much for everything.
Okay, thank you. Moving forward, we'll go on to number 20, I believe, where we're at. The informational items. Letter A is American Education Week, November 15 through 19. Letter B is parent-teacher virtual conferences are scheduled for Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021 in all district buildings. Conferences are scheduled for the afternoon of the 23rd, beginning at 1 p.m. and ending at 8 p.m. District administrators and teachers strongly urge all parents to participate in these conferences. This will be a noon early dismissal day for students for the Thanksgiving holiday. And I think I'd like to add in there, I believe from one of our past conversations that the virtual conferences have worked relatively well and have actually increased the number of parent participations. Is that correct, Dr. Barrett?
That's correct.
So I think for at least the near term, we're going to probably stick with that virtual format, and it appears to be working pretty well. Number C is dates to remember. We've got November 1st, 2021 is sports physicals. November 1st, 3rd, 8th, 10th, 15th, 17th, 22nd, 2021 is the R.D. Wilson second grade tutoring, 3 to 4 p.m. November 2nd, 4th, 9th, 16th, 18th through 2021 is RDW. Oh, sorry, I already got that one. First grade tutoring, 3 to 4 p.m. Number 4, November 3rd is Robert D. Wilson PTA meeting at 6:30 p.m. Number 5, November 9th is Evergreen Picture Makeup Day. Number 6, November 11th is Middle School Assembly on Bullying. Number 7, November 11th also is an early dismissal, noon. It's an Act 80 day. Number 8 is November 23rd is 2021 is also an early dismissal at noon for virtual parent-teacher conferences, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. November 24th to 29th, no school for the Thanksgiving break. Do we have any correspondence?
No
Not at this
correspondence.
time.
Superintendent's report. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, Assistant Superintendent's report. No questions on that one either. Actually, we'll go through these quickly here. The principal's report. Anything on that one? All right. Number 25 is federal programs report. Do we have anything to report?
No updates.
Okay. Does any board member have any other business that they'd like to speak about?
Mr. Hoke, I would like to first recognize Attorney Mayer for all of his service to the district over the past, I believe it's 13 years. I would like to also congratulate Attorney Mayor on his election to become judge in Wayne County. It's been a privilege to work with Matt, and we'll miss you. So you've done a tremendous job for us, and thank you.
I'll echo that. Congratulations, Your Honor, in your new position, and good luck with it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Matt, for all that you've done for us throughout the years. I've worked with you for a long time, and you've always done a great job.
Well, I'd like to say thanks a lot, Dr. Barrett and Bill and Rick and everybody else. I've worked with a tremendous group at Western Wayne over these, it has been about 13, 14 years. I really enjoyed working with you guys as a team as you would go through this process of trying to provide the best education you could for the Western Wayne school students. So I really appreciate that, and I hope to see you all soon.
Well, not too soon in your new position, but we'll be glad to see
Exactly.
you. We'll be glad to see you out and about. All right, we'll move on.
Rick, I just want to say real quick, all our sports teams are getting toward the end of their time here for this time of the year, but congratulations to all that have made it to where they made it and the ones that are still going on. So just if you get a chance, go out and see some of the games, and that's all. They're all doing a really good job.
Thank you, Mr. Gambita. They do the boys, girls. I know volleyball just ended. I think football's coming to an end. Everything's and the young folks really do work hard. So thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Anybody else have any other business? Okay, we'll move on to number 27. Our future meetings, Monday, November 22nd at 6 p.m. will be a work session. And right now, this says in the administration building. So I guess we're going to make that determination as we get closer, Dr. Barrett, as to locations for these?
Yes, we'll plan on the administrative building. Again, that is our goal. We would like to get back to in person as soon as we can, unless something comes up in the meantime, then we'll have to make adjustments.
Great, thank you.
But the one thing I would discuss is while we're speaking of that, we have the work session originally scheduled for the 22nd, looking at combining the meetings to do both of them on Wednesday, December 1st for the reorganization. So we'll just,
I'd rather push it to the 22nd. I'm not going to be able to attend on the 1st.
Is that too soon? Can we do that? I'm
I
not
think we
sure.
have to have the reorganization, Dan, I think we have to have the reorganization meeting that first week of December.
Yeah, it has to be in the first 7 days of the month.
So
Okay, I won't be in attendance.
okay.
Can you do it remotely?
If you guys don't mind the sounds of Disney behind me.
No, we've done that. We've done that.
On vacation, it's up to you. So.
We've done that in the past where we would have board members remotely participate, and if you could, that would be great. As a matter of fact, many years ago, before in my role as a board member many years ago, we had one board member who was actually in a car on the interstate in Florida who was participating, and I think we heard some extraneous sounds, but it can work.
TMI.
I also won't be available, but I will be able to do it remotely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep. Well, and I think we've done that actually, if I have vague memory from years back, at one point we actually did it by telephone rather than virtually. So if you want to participate in the organization or the entire meeting, you can absolutely do that.
Mine would absolutely have to be via telephone. I'm going to bring my laptop in there.
Yeah, those in the past were done by phone.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. We'll discuss that, and you guys can make whatever arrangements we need to. So it's currently then we'll have Wednesday, December 1st, 2021 at 6 p.m. for the regular meeting and the reorganization meeting, correct?
So we'll have the work session first and then move to the reorganization.
Same day, I'm sorry. Yes. Yep.
And then the vote.
Okay. All right. Very good. Informational meetings held on October 6th, 2021. We had an executive session for personnel and legal, followed By the regular monthly meeting via Zoom, October 27th, 2021, 6 p.m. board work session, executive session for personnel and legal, followed by a work session meeting via Zoom. We will have a brief executive session after this meeting for the same reasons, to discuss personnel and legal issues. And I think that's the end for the regular meeting. Motion to adjourn, please. Unless anybody has anything else.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. DeCiato.